So we've been going camping now with our family for a few years, and in that time I think we've pretty much perfected what our essential kit is. Do you think?
No, I got it perfected the moment we left the very first time.
Yeah. So I thought it might be fun to share what my essentials are, or 5 of them, compared to what Dan's 5 essentials are for camping. And I think we'll probably find that they're quite different. Do you think? We haven't compared beforehand what our essential items are, so we'll see.
Well, the obvious one is you need a tent.
Apart from a tent.
I think there's going to be some lining up.
Is it?
What, a tent? Of course, tent's on the list. That's number 1. You can't camp without a tent.
Okay, you need another 5 then. We'll agree that a tent is an essential item.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it? You need a tent. You're going to go camping? Where's the tent? We're not camping now, we're just lying on the ground.
If you're new here, I have a whole playlist full of camping videos. So we have tips and tricks for successful camping with kids and some vlogs of our trips so far over the years. So I'll leave that link for you if you want to go and check that out. If you're new, don't forget to hit subscribe and give the video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more camping content and this kind of video on this channel. So apparently I'm going first and sharing my first essential for a good camping trip. And my first one, which I know you will disagree with, is an electric hookup with a long power lead with multiple outlets on it, because we have camped without electricity, without an electric hookup. It was fine, but I find it more enjoyable to have electricity. Mostly, to be fair, not for things like devices or hair straighteners, although that is nice, but mostly for the cool box. I feel much more at ease if I know that we've got a cool box where we can keep our food like safe and cold, and our drinks cold.
It is nice to have a cold fridge.
Yeah, to have a cold gin, because as much as it does stay cool for a while after you arrive, it's only...
Well, most campsites do have on-site fridges and freezers.
Yeah, but I don't trust those.
Share communally, and then you the ice blocks and put them
in. They do, to be fair.
So
but
you don't really need an electric fridge.
Well, you don't.
You don't.
Well, you don't need
it's nice to have
one, but it's nice to have one. And for me, it is an essential for an enjoyable camping trip, especially with kids. So that's my first one. What's yours?
Wood-burning stove. You need a wood-burning stove. If you haven't got one, go out and buy one, and then take it camping with you, and trust me, you will thank me. That is the most important thing, because it's the one thing that means that every evening you can sit outside in a nice, enjoyable, warm, ambient temperature. You're not blowing smoke and flames all around the campsite. Some campsites don't like you having proper open fires, but we've been to some pretty snooty ones, and they don't mind my wood-burning stove. It's a closed firebox with a chimney and a spark arrestor.
Dan,
wood-burning stove.
As much as I love taking our wood-burning stove camping,
you
cannot say that is an essential. That is not an essential.
Sitting outside without a wood-burning stove sucks. You're outside the tent, God, it's cold, let's go to bed. No, we can sit up to midnight watching the stars and drinking a glass of wine, warming your feet by a wood-burning stove.
Couldn't you argue, though, that is not in keeping with like proper camping? Proper camping is...
You need a campfire.
You gather wood, you have a campfire. A wood-burning stove is just...
brilliant.
It's brilliant, and I do love it, and I laughed more than anyone when he first said he was taking a wood-burning stove
Everyone
camping.
said, what are you doing? You're an idiot. That first evening. Oops. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I was right.
Well, it's nice, but it's not essential.
Well, you want to go camping and not about the wood-burning stove?
Well, not now that we have.
Exactly.
There
you go. See, number 1, wood-burning stove.
It's not an essential for anyone who's starting out with camping.
You can also put your kettle on it, and you can have a nice morning cup of coffee.
Doesn't fit in the boot of a car, though, does it?
No.
No.
But it doesn't fit in the boot of a car. But most people go camping to have other means of bringing their equipment. Yeah,
we do. We take a car and a van.
Well, not always. We will have
to. We basically move house when we go camping. We basically leave our home, take everything we own, put it in a field, and then bring it back again.
What's your number 2?
Okay, number 2. I have to check my list so that I don't get them wrong. My second essential item for camping is duvets. Duvets and pillows. Am I right?
It is nice to have a duvet.
It is. And again, this is very much space dependent when you're packing up your stuff, because it is, like when we've packed up the van, it's always a struggle to get those duvets in at the end, isn't it? But it's so worth it. If you can and you have means to take your duvet, definitely take it, because there's nothing cozier than waking up in a tent with the air around you all cold and being snuggled under your duvet, because a sleeping bag just doesn't cut it, in my view. And yet another example of the fact that we actually move house when we go camping. We take everything, including our duvet and pillows for the whole family. Is that a good one?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Okay, what's your second?
You need lots of outside space. Gazebos, extra awnings, as much cover as you can, because you guarantee you go camping, it's gonna rain.
So you need extra coverings.
You need somewhere where you can be outside, still outside with the elements, but not getting wet, and a nice place to put your wood-burning stove. You don't want it in a tent.
It is good to be able to camp under another covering, isn't it?
Yeah, because
not camp, cook under another covering.
Yeah, you don't want to be cooking inside the tent, and you need some form of outside cover. So a little gazebo is great, and I've also got extra awnings on the tent, and more awnings, and even more awnings.
When we first started, we just had our tent and one awning.
Well, we had the tent, the awning, and the gazebo, which was this,
which we bought jointly with a friend.
It became like a communal area, so we could all sort of sit outside, and we had. So the first camping trip, we didn't have a wood burning stove. We brought a fire basket when I didn't think to bring it. I soon learned.
I must stress, this is not our wood burning stove that we use in our house. This is
it's just a small,
our old one from our old house that is no longer in use. So it lives in Dan's workshop.
Lives in and then it can just go in the back of the van.
So we don't dismantle our own personal living room fire to take camping. We take that one. But yeah, I would agree with that actually. I think the more camping trips we've gone on, we've kind of invested in
the more awnings, the more outside space, the better, because then you've got somewhere to cook, somewhere to do washing up, somewhere to just keep stuff dry, and if it's raining and it suddenly starts peeing down, you haven't got to gather all your stuff because you've got cover for everything.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be outside, and you get some tents that are just all like one big bubble and it's like a giant porch thing, which is nice, but and you don't
it's
get
somewhere
fresh
to sit outside to eat breakfast and things like that as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can have the kids on their little camping table and chairs, so they can sit and eat breakfast, and even if it's raining, they're still outside the tent, because it's nice to actually get them out of the tent so we can tidy the tent and put it back together every morning.
Yeah. I should say though, because someone pointed this out on one of my other camping videos, that some campsites won't let you stretch your tent with multiple awnings, so you might have to, well, just play it by ear with what campsite I guess you're going to. So my third essential is wine glasses with lids.
Yeah.
Because we've learnt this the hard way, that there's a lot to trip over on a dark campsite.
Oh yeah.
You learnt it the hard way.
Yep.
You went flying over one of our guide ropes, holding a glass of wine that had a lid on it.
Lid and a straw.
Didn't spill a drop.
Yep. It hurt. Everybody laughed.
It was very funny.
And I'd only gone to tell the kids to keep it down, and then tripped over and made a silly noise.
That will lead to my fourth essential actually, but I won't give it away.
Oh, right.
But my what was I saying? Oh, there is something odd about drinking wine out of a straw. That's the only thing, because the ones we've got are plastic with, and it is a wine glass. It's not meant for other drinks. It says wine on the side or something, but it's a plastic one, like a goblet with a lid and a straw. And white wine out of that is okay, but red wine, you get used to it.
It's all right.
I'll drink wine out of it.
It's better than putting it down on the grass and realising it's just slopped over there. Oh no, oh my wine.
Exactly, and actually this wasn't on my list, but another essential that I bought you, I think, once for a present is one of those little camping tables on a spike. So you like stick it in the ground and it stays relatively stable, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But not stable enough to not have a lid on your wine glass, because you don't want to be spilling it.
No.
So what's your third?
Third, lots of foldable furniture.
Yes.
Inflatable stuff is pretty good, but foldable is better, because then you don't wake up one morning flat as a pancake on the floor.
Again, that's something we've learned over the years, because we started out with, what did we have? Inflatable?
We had an inflatable sofa, the air mattress things for the kids to sleep on, which is they were fine because they're nice and cheap. But then we've invested. We got
inflatable sofa bed.
We've got an inflatable sofa bed, which has died on the last camp trip. There's a hole in it somewhere, so I think I'll have to get another one of those. But that is brilliant, because in the daytime we can sort of have a whip around the tent, and then you've actually got a sofa in your tent rather than just a big bed. So everyone can sit down. It's like having your own little living room then. And then when you're done with that, you quickly flip it out, make the bed in the evening.
It is brilliant, and it is really comfy.
Super comfy.
It's lasted us so well, I think.
It lasted about 5 years, so it hasn't done badly.
I should say actually, everything we're talking about, I will link, including our tent, because a few people messaged me to ask which tent we have. So I'll leave our tent awnings. Most of it's from Amazon, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think
you
pretty much Amazon primed everything for our camping trips. But everything I mentioned will be linked, everything I can find anyway, in the description box. But a friend of ours, because we had an inflatable sofa, and a friend of ours had...
Oh, they've got like a fold-out double sofa, but it's much better because it's a bit more comfy to sit on. And we find with the inflatable sofas, even though you pump it up, after a while you lose a bit of pressure. And the kids jump on it and then they manage to make a hole in it. And then it either is too pumped up, in which case you can't get comfortable, or it's too sloppy and you just slide off it. So the folding ones are much better. We haven't got one of those yet, we will have soon. And
the other thing that we've upgraded is the kids' beds.
Yeah, bunk beds.
Metal frame, aren't they? Metal frame.
Yeah, go outdoors, set of bunk beds. They all fold up into poles and proper camp beds, and the kids love it, and it's great because they don't go down in the in the night. So
my next essential is fairy lights. I thought that might be on your list, but maybe not. Perhaps that's a bit aesthetic, but I find it really nice. I think it sets a really nice atmosphere in the tent. We put them around the central pole of our bell tent, and we have them on. Oh, have you ever put them around?
We put them all around the tent and all on the awning, and they do come at the centre pole sometimes.
Yeah.
But the nice thing with the fairy lights on the tent is when you go to the toilet, when you're walking back, if you've got on quite a long campsite or is it quite a big campsite and you potentially get lost, just look out for the one you can see from space, and that'll be our tent.
It's like, have you seen the Griswold's Family Christmas with his house?
Yeah.
It's like that. Our tent is like that. Anywhere we go, we can see it from space. It's hilarious, but I love that because I get quite nervous coming back from the toilets at like 3 o'clock in the morning or something on my own with just a tiny torch that only illuminates like 6 foot in front of you. So to see the tent glowing in the field,
yeah,
nice.
You could spot us a mile off. You can see our tent.
I don't know, it just makes the whole experience that bit more magical, and I love it. I love
nice in the evenings as well, because it's a low ambient light, so it's not massively bright, but it just means you can sit there and enjoy a glass of wine by the wood-burning stove. But with a little bit of ambient light. You haven't got just the lanterns and things, or the battery things.
Yeah, they're quite a bright, harsh light as well,
and then you kill the batteries then, so the fairy lights.
Yeah.
So yeah, I suppose your electric hookup is necessary for those.
Yes.
Granted.
See? Yes, it is.
So.
Although you could get solar powered ones, I suppose.
Yeah, you could do.
So what's your number 4?
A big van.
Again, not an essential. You
it's
can't
not
tell
essential.
people they need to buy a van.
You don't need to buy one, but it does make it very easy to put all your camping stuff in.
So it's our essential.
Yeah, well, not only that, with 4 children, me and you, and Boo as well now. Yeah, we will be taking the car next time because someone's going to have Boo in the front seat. So
she's a big girl. She doesn't fit on a lap
Boo
anymore.
will go in the front seat with me, and I can take 3 of the children, and you can have one in a quiet journey in the car. Lucky thing.
My 5th, and one of the most important ones, I think, is plastic sliders. So, like flip-flop slider shoes. Yeah. Because in the past I've ruined many a pair of slippers walking to the loo first thing in the morning across wet grass. Even if it hasn't rained, the grass still gets really wet. So I have ditched that, and even though you do get wet toes, it's better than ruining your slippers. Yeah. But the other reason I think...
wellies are handy.
Yeah, but they're a pain to get on and off, so I just use the sliders, and they're great for the kids as well. Or Crocs, I suppose, if you wear that, if you have Crocs. But the other thing they're great for is the showers, because you don't want to be standing barefoot in communal showers.
Yeah, true, okay.
So they were my 5th and final camping essential. Practical, I thought. What was yours?
A good mallet. You need a good mallet. And never forget it. Don't
Do you want to tell the story about the time you forgot the mallet, Dan?
You forgot the mallet.
It was not a good start to a camping trip, and it was a festival, not a campsite. Yeah. So
I had to use my flip-flop folded in half and
your face
physically beat the peg into the ground. So always remember to bring a very good mallet.
And how many? You did a few pegs before.
I did a few before. Some bloke looked at me and said, "Do you want to borrow a mallet?" And I said, "Oh, yes, please."
Why didn't you just ask in the first
Well, I didn't think to, and it's, everyone else was setting up at the same time.
You were quite cross that day as well. We were late arriving, so it was going dark. It was a 4-hour drive. It was quite a stressy camping
and
setup.
It was a long walk from where we had to park to where you were going to set up. So But thankfully this very nice chap brought over what I can only describe as Thor's hammer. And I was stood there with this ginormous great mallet and thought, yep, I need to get me one of these. So
not only did you need to get him, he's now made mallets in his workshop. So he has a multitude of different size mallets for any occasion.
Yep, I've got a little tiny dinky one, right the way up to the, well, it's I call it the persuader. Nothing's going to argue with it, it just goes straight in the ground. Yeah, a good mallet.
A few people have asked if we can share our camping setup, and we don't have any camping trips planned so far for this year, but I will...
No, it's a bit of a funny one this year.
Yeah, we'd like to go, wouldn't we? But because we're moving shortly, it's kind of, everything's a bit up in the air.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that we're going to get to go this summer, although we might, we'll see. But if we do, we will share a video of our full camping setup as soon as it's done, so before it gets trashed by the kids. But that is something I would like to do. So if you want to see that video, let me know in the comments and give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you'd like to see it.
There is an old one that you've got of the setup and everything.
Well, it's not, I don't really talk through what we've got and why we've got it and where we got it from and that kind of thing. I think people would like to see like a full tent tour with all the awnings and everything like that.
If you're going to go through everything, it's going to take forever. There's loads of stuff.
People want to see your full tent tour. It's like MTV Cribs, but for camping. So if we do get a chance to do that, I will. If not, as soon as we do get an opportunity to go camping, we will do it then. So that is coming. So subscribe so you don't miss out on that one. And as I said earlier, there's a full camping playlist linked in the description box. So those are our camping essentials, husband and wife must-haves for a successful camping trip. I hope you enjoyed hearing about them. If you did, give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.